There's something strangely appealing about driving down a lonely highway at night. The empty roads. The endless darkness. The freedom of being miles away from everyone else. But sometimes, those same roads hide secrets that people spend the rest of their lives trying to forget. Tonight, I'm bringing you 7 of the most disturbing road trip horror stories ever reported. These stories are based on experiences shared by travelers who claim they encountered something they still can't explain. And trust me, you'll want to stay until the end because the final story is the most terrifying of them all. Story 1. In 2017, a photographer named Daniel was driving back from the Nevada desert. It was around 11 p.m. He was completely alone on Highway 95. For miles, he hadn't seen another vehicle. Then he noticed a woman standing on the side of the road. She looked injured. Concerned, Daniel pulled over. The woman quietly explained that her car had broken down and asked if he could give her a ride into town. Daniel agreed. She climbed into the back seat. A few minutes later, Daniel noticed something strange. The temperature inside his SUV suddenly dropped. It felt freezing cold. When he glanced into the rearview mirror, he saw that the woman's eyes looked completely black. Then she spoke. "You shouldn't have stopped." Daniel's stomach dropped. He pressed harder on the gas pedal. But moments later, he saw a man standing in the middle of the highway. He slammed on the brakes. When he looked again, the man was gone. Then Daniel checked the back seat. The woman had vanished too. Terrified, he continued driving until he found a small gas station. The elderly clerk listened to his story and revealed something disturbing. Years earlier, a woman had disappeared on that exact stretch of highway. Her wrecked vehicle was found. Her body never was. Daniel decided to spend the night at the gas station. But around 2 a.m., he woke up to the sound of tapping on the window. Tab. 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 He pulled back the curtain. Standing outside was the same woman. Smiling. The next morning, Daniel left the area without stopping once. But before he crossed the state line, he glanced in his rearview mirror one last time. And there she was, standing beside the highway, watching him leave. Story 2. Mark and his girlfriend Emily were taking a road trip from Arizona to California. It was late at night. Their fuel tank was nearly empty. Their GPS directed them to a gas station in the middle of nowhere. What seemed strange was that there were no towns nearby. No houses. Nothing. Yet the station appeared open. They pulled in. The place looked incredibly old. Inside, an elderly man sat behind the counter. Without even smiling, he said, "You should leave now." Mark assumed the man was joking. They filled up the car anyway. While waiting, Emily noticed several people standing behind the station. They were staring directly at them. None of them moved. Not even once. Mark turned and looked. 5 figures stood silently in the darkness, just watching. The couple immediately got back into the car and drove away. About an hour later, curiosity got the better of them. They searched online for the gas station. Nothing appeared. No records. No reviews. No address. The next day they returned to the location. But the gas station was gone. All that remained was an empty field and a burned sign lying in the dirt. Locals later told them that the station had burned down nearly 20 years earlier. Story 3. The passenger in the back seat. Jack was driving alone from Texas to Oklahoma. It was around 1 a.m. After 6 straight hours behind the wheel, exhaustion began setting in. He stopped at an isolated rest area to take a short break. After resting for a while, he got back on the road. About 20 minutes later, he glanced into his rearview mirror. Someone was sitting in the back seat. A man. Jack immediately pulled over. He turned around. The seat was empty. He convinced himself it was just fatigue. Then he checked the mirror again. The man was back. This time he was smiling. A wide, unnatural smile. Jack drove nonstop until sunrise. When daylight finally arrived, he noticed muddy footprints across the back seat. Footprints that definitely hadn't been there before. Story 4. Mile marker 666. Truck drivers traveling through a remote stretch of highway in Utah have shared the same chilling story for years. According to multiple reports, a black semi-truck appears near mile marker 666 late at night. The truck has no license plates, no visible headlights, yet it moves at incredible speed. Drivers who attempt to pass it often report the same thing. The truck suddenly disappears. One driver claimed he pulled alongside the vehicle and looked through the driver's window. There was nobody inside. The truck was driving itself. Story 5, The Desert Hitchhiker. Two friends were driving through the Nevada desert late one night. They spotted an elderly man standing beside the road. Feeling sorry for him, they offered him a ride. For nearly 30 minutes he didn't say a word. Then he finally spoke. "You can let me out here." The driver stopped the car. The old man stepped out. Or at least that's what they thought. Neither of them heard the door open. Neither heard it close. Confused, they turned around. The back seat was empty. The old man had vanished. Story 6, The Town That Wasn't on the Map. A family became lost during a road trip and followed their GPS into a small town. At first glance, everything seemed normal. People walked the streets. Businesses were open. Cars lined the roads. But something felt wrong. Every single person stared at them. Nobody smiled. Nobody looked away. The family quickly left. Later they tried finding the town on a map. But they couldn't. Because according to every map they checked, the town didn't exist. Story 7, The Van Behind Us. Two college students were driving home late at night. After several miles, they noticed a white van behind them. At first they ignored it. But the van followed them through every turn, every highway, every exit. For hours. Growing nervous, they decided to drive directly to the nearest police station. As soon as they entered the station parking lot, the van disappeared. Days later, police informed them that a white van matching that description had been linked to several kidnapping investigations in the area. But there was one problem. The license plate number the students wrote down didn't exist in any vehicle registration database. Outro. So those were 7 of the most disturbing true road trip horror stories. Which one scared you the most? Story 1. Story 4. Or Story 7? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss a new upload. Because next time we'll be diving into *7 Most Disturbing True Camping Horror Stories, Episode 4. And trust me, those stories are even more terrifying. Until next time, drive safe and watch your mirrors.